Okay, apologies if you can hear the dog in the background. There's not much I can do about it, but so these are my standard Blu-ray ones. First off, we have Bohemian Rhapsody. This is a film that first time I saw it, I liked it quite a bit. Second time I saw it, I was a bit bored. I prefer Rocketman and Elvis, the way they did things. It's a lot more unique, and the way biopics are done like that, it's just a bit generic. But Steelbook's cool. It's got like the vinyl for the discs. So. I need to remember to put these bloody tickets back in, which I've done. But you saw this in cinema. It's okay. It's not great. But obviously all the behind the scenes stuff with the director and also the band wanting to make it more about them and not as much about it's just a bag of worms. A can of worms. I'm not going to dig up. But Bohemian Rhapsody, Blu-ray Steelbook. Next up is one of my favourite TV shows, miniseries of the last just I've ever seen, and that is Chernobyl. This is just the standard Blu-ray Steelbook, which I want to get. There's a really nice stylized one that's 4K that came out, I believe, recently, or maybe not, I can't remember, but I really want to get my hands on that. But I love this show so much. It's absolutely just brilliant, honestly. Love Chernobyl so much. Yes, of course, I love what happened there. No. But this show does such a good job of just making you feel like shit, but making it very entertaining. No, absolutely fantastic show. And I'll continue to buy multiple copies of it if they release more steelbooks. Next up is Deepwater Horizon. This is a film that I did not expect to love as much as I did. I saw this in IMAX when it first came out. Absolutely just brilliant. It's just such a... It's one of those films that is just absolutely horrifying to watch. It's just so well done. And the steelbook is gorgeous as well. And I just think that, yeah, it's such an emotional film. If you haven't seen it, watch it, because it's just brilliant. I have the 4K of this, but I've not watched it yet. But fantastic film. Didn't pre-order that, surprisingly enough. Just picked it up in HMV when I was in one time. El Camino. Obviously, the Breaking Bad film. Love Breaking Bad. Breaking Bad, I've watched through it 3 times, I believe. Not seen Better Call Saul yet, but since that's just wrapped up, I've got the complete series pre-ordered, so I'll probably start watching through that at some point. But it's the El Camino Steelbook. Had this pre-ordered. The inside's a bit boring, but yeah. My only issue with this Steelbook is there's no actual... it doesn't say anything on the spine. Doesn't say El Camino, so it's just black, which is weird. But yeah, that's the El Camino Steelbook. Good film. Very good companion piece to Breaking Bad. But yeah. Next up is Filth with James McAvoy, which this and another Steelbook are ones that I just picked up on a whim. I'm pretty sure these were this was one of my first Steelbooks, along with one I'll get to later, but I'd seen the film before I bought it, but God, I love the embossed design of the cocaine lines and everything. And it's a great film as well. James McAvoy is fantastic. But yeah, I love that little Steelbook. It's very nice. Next up, going back to the Godzilla again. It's the Godzilla 3D Steelbook. I got this in CEX for like £3, I believe. That's because it was the one Godzilla film I didn't have a Steelbook for in terms of the new MonsterVerse. I think I got this like a couple of weeks before I bought the Monsterverse set, so it was one I'd always seen, but I finally saw it in CX for £3. It was in decent condition. I just picked it up, and yeah, just happy I have it. And this is one that this next film is one of my favourite films of 2020. It might be my favourite film of 2020. But so after it, I was like, oh, there's got to be a steelbook for it. Got to be a steelbook for it. There never was, over here at least. And then the end of 2020, I discovered on Amazon there was a German steelbook for it, and that is The Gentleman. And this is the exact art I wanted on the steelbook when after I first saw it. I was like, oh, it'd be great if there was that exact art. And my only gripe with this is that it is not a 4K steelbook. It's my only gripe with it. I'm so happy I managed to get this steelbook because I love this film so much. Yeah, absolutely just brilliant. Seen it 7 times now, 6 or 7 times. Just brilliant. Next up, we have another film that didn't see in the cinema but pre-ordered it on standard Blu-ray. Watched it and have loved it ever since. And that's Hardcore Henry, or Hardcore as it's called in German, because I got the steelbook for £8 on Amazon. It came extremely dented and bent out of shape, but for £7 I just bashed it. Well, not bashed it, I just knocked it in a bit and it's back to normal. So yeah, for £7 I can't complain. Love this film. It is still quite dented, but it's life. Just happy I have it on steelbook, to be honest. Next up is this film. Yeah. Okay. The only reason I actually have this steelbook is because it was cheaper than the standard Blu-ray at the time. And this is the Justice League 3D steelbook. It's not. Yeah, I mean, it's Justice League. I've watched it twice, maybe, since I saw it in cinemas, and I only have this because it was cheaper than the standard. But yeah, I had not much to say on that. It's fine. Next up is another film that I saw in the cinemas twice and is bloody brilliant. This is the HMV exclusive steelbook, and that is Logan. Once again, my only gripe with this steelbook, it's not 4K. It comes with Logan, Logan Noir, and the digital copy, but bloody love this steelbook, bloody love this film. Have the 4K, but yeah, just absolutely adore it. So good, such a good film. Pre-ordered the steelbook, obviously. I believe this sold out quite quickly as well, but fantastic. Hopefully they release another 4K steelbook that I can pick up for this one, but we'll see. This next steelbook is a bit of a running joke. It's the Lawless steelbook. I got this for like £6 on eBay. It's an inside joke between me and Callum and a bunch of other people, but nothing special. Film's okay. Seen it once. Yeah. If you know, you know. And if you know, it's a very small group of people, but you know. Next, Luther Season 1. Got this a couple of weeks ago for like a £5, brand new sealed. Not opened it. Love Luther. Yeah, just really cool. Pick that up for a £5. Yeah, love Luther. Luther's brilliant. Hopefully we'll be getting that movie next year. And this may have been this was one of my first steelbooks that I got in a charity shop, believe it or not, and that's Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Saw this in cinemas twice. Loved it. Still think that I don't fucking get that. Still think that Fallout is better, but it's the inside of it. For some reason it came with 3 discs when it never came with 3 discs, I don't believe. But yeah, it's Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation. Okay, back. If there's an abrupt cut at any point to this, I've had to go and do something, but we'll just keep going. Next is a film that I also managed to see in cinemas with Callum before lockdown, which, thank Christ we did, because it's a bloody masterpiece. I know it's talked about a lot. It won best film, but it's Parasite. This is a lovely little steelbook because the front and the back are the exact same. If you've seen the film, you'll know what this all means, but even the titles are, hang on, let me see. Even the titles are like backwards, so it doesn't actually matter which way you put it, it's the same. Have this on 4K. Not watched it in a while, but it's just absolutely brilliant. Annoyed it wasn't a 4K at launch, but they did release one eventually, but I haven't picked that one up yet. Yeah, it's Parasite. Next, we have Preacher, season 1. I think I've seen the first half of the season like 2 or 3 times, but I've never gotten into it. Well, I did, but I had other things to do. It's a very nice steelbook. But yeah, I know it's ended now, but you can't actually, I don't think you can get them all over here in this region, which sucks because that was something I was planning on doing, buying them all and watching them. But yeah, I think I got that for a £5. Again, it was one of those things where it was on Amazon, it was a £5 brand new, and I just picked it up. So yeah, it's Preacher. Next up we have, this is sealed as well, we have Rampage, which once again, it was like £5 on eBay, and I just picked it up because the film's okay and I didn't have it. It's the 3D, but I mean, it's Rampage, it's fine. Next up we have Star Wars The Force Awakens standard Blu-ray. I bought this, I got this in a CEX for like £2. Force Awakens is my favourite, and then Last Jedi in terms of the new trilogy. But yeah, it's a nice enough little steelbook. Yeah, I really like The Force Awakens. Don't care what anyone says. Yeah. Next up is A Star Is Born. Once again, these are all coming to me like a little bit bent out of shape, but yeah, it's A Star Is Born, standard Blu-ray. Saw this in cinema twice. I love this film so much. I have the 4K, but I've just not watched it yet. Yeah, emotional shit. Yeah, this was an HMV exclusive until they cancelled all their pre-orders, and then I could only get it through eBay, which was a bit weird. But yeah, and then we have the Suicide Squad from 2016. I saw this film 3 times in cinemas. I don't mind it. I didn't mind it, and I still don't mind it. I get it's not great, but that's the steelbook. The steelbook's pretty nice, to be honest. There was one that released a little while after it that just looked really weird because all the characters were like cartoony but photorealistic, and it just looked really, really uncanny. Didn't like that one, but nice little steelbook. Got the 3D in it as well. So it's fine. Okay, and these are the last of my standard. No, they're not. That's a lie. There's still ones in the horror bit that I need to slip out and show you. But these are the last of the. It's not the last of anything. I'm going to shut up and show you now. So next up we have Spoodryman Homecoming, which I picked up this steelbook a couple of weeks ago in CEX for like £3 because it's the one home trilogy steelbook I didn't have. Inside's pretty boring, but nice enough. Love the film. I love the trilogy. The trilogy's great. But my favourite will always be the Raimi trilogy because that's what I grew up with. But still great films. Next up, we have the Far From Home 3D HMV steelbook, which I did pre-order, and it's such a lovely little steelbook. Yeah, it's got the 3D. It came with an art card and a bonus disc, but yeah, love that film as well. Absolutely brilliant. In my opinion, the films get better as they go on. Next, we have T2 Trainspotting. This was another steelbook that I saw on Amazon for brand new. Didn't have the Blu-ray, so just picked it up. It's debossed here, embossed here. Orange. This is the first film that was an 18 that I saw in the cinema, which was quite cool. But yeah, really good. Not as good as the first, but good. Very good. One of the better legacy sequels. Yeah. Next up, we have the X-Men First Class Steelbook, which again, like the Homecoming, I got in CEX for £3. It was quite dirty, but I cleaned it up and it looks quite nice now. One weird thing about this one is that all the stuff is printed on the back. There's not a J card, which is not very normal. But yeah, nice little set. The inside's boring as piss, but you know. Love X-Men First Class and Days Future Past. Apocalypse, Dark Phoenix. Okay. But saw this and thought, nah, I like First Class. It's nice to have a little steelbook. It's only £3. This is another one of those steelbooks that I got from the charity shop that I got Mission Impossible 5 from, and that is X-Men Apocalypse, which comes with the 3D and the Blu-ray. But yeah, it's a really nice little steelbook. I mean, it's an okay film. It's better than Dark Phoenix, but it's nothing on the first two. And finally, for this little pile, until I pull the horror ones out, we have Zodiac. This is the steelbook that came out this year, last month. I love this film. My only gripe, once again, is that it's not a 4K. I was excited to see that it was announced on Zavi, but it wasn't a 4K. So, but yeah, it's one of those films where I love it. So if there's a Blu-ray, if there's a steelbook of any kind, I'll try and get it. So. Yeah. Okay, I'm back with the horror ones that I have. So, first up is, I'm pretty sure this was the first steelbook I pre-ordered. And like the first new steelbook I bought, and that is one of my favourite films. The Conjuring 2. I believe this is the HMV exclusive one, as far as I know. 1 second. Yeah, HMV exclusive one. I saw this film 3 times in the cinema. Love it. Love the Conjuring films. The third one is one of my biggest disappointments of last year. But yeah, love this one. Oh yeah, the spine. Apologies. Yeah. Next up, we have another great film from the same year, I believe. Excuse me. Next up, we have another film that from the same year, I believe, and that is Don't Breathe. Love this film. Sequel's okay. I recently watched the sequel for the first time and thought it was fine. Saw this in the cinema, and once again, I'm very fortunate that my audience was respectful, and they didn't make any noise, so that was another great experience. Like A Quiet Place, that I'm very fortunate people weren't feeling dicky that day. So next up we have another Mondo. This is one that I picked up along with another film that I'll get to in a little bit, and yeah, I'm not a big, I don't know how to put this, I'm not a big fan of the first, let's just show you this first. It's Friday the 13th, the original steelbook. Yeah. It's a lovely little steelbook. I picked this up, what's the slip? I picked this up along with another film, last year, I believe. Just because I didn't have any steelbooks for the franchise, and I kind of wanted one, and this was the readily available one that was also brand new. As I said, it is Mondo. This is going to be hard to get to focus, but it's not working. But yeah, anyway, it's a lovely steelbook. Like I said, first one is my least favorite. I have them all behind me, I believe. Yeah, they're somewhere up there, but either way. Yeah, it's fine. It's my least favourite. I just find it to be quite boring. But obviously it's the film that started it all, so you know, it's cool to have a steelbook for that. Next up, we have the Ringu steelbook, or Ring as it was called here. This is the original Japanese version. This, I believe, is an Arrow Video. Yep, it's an Arrow Video steelbook. Ooh, I've got a cramp in my hand. This is an Arrow Video steelbook, lovely little steelbook. Very, very nice. The inside is the well. This to it. Seen this film once. It's good. I've seen the remake more. I don't think I like the remake more, but I have seen it more. But that's probably just because, you know, I don't live in Japan, and it's just one of those things. I didn't show you the spine. I apologise. I don't know if you can see that. Sorry if you can't see any of these. I'm still working on a good lighting setup, but I'm just doing a set in my bedroom. So next up, we have one that came out last week, I do believe, but won't come out because I actually want to open this one on camera. And that is the Ring, the American version. This is the 20th anniversary steelbook. This lot covers a VHS, so I'm going to open this now because I've not actually opened this one yet, and I plan on maybe watching it today. So, but yeah, oh, stinks. So you have your cardboard slip that's the VHS tape, which is quite cool, and then you have the steelbook, which is lovely, on the inside. I can't remember her name. But yeah, it's lovely. Spine. Yeah. Lovely little steelbook I got a week ago, I believe. I need to rewatch this because it's one of those films that I remember freaking me the fuck out as a kid, but just haven't watched it since because I believe this Blu-ray is out of print, and that's one of the reasons why I got this, is because it was coming out and it was easy to get, and it was a steelbook, but this is out of print as far as I know. So yeah. Next up we have this. This is another case like Justice League where it was cheaper than the standard Blu-ray. In fact, I don't even think I could find the standard Blu-ray in my HMV. It was literally, this was it. And that is the Silent Hill Revelation. Is it Revelations? No, Revelation steelbook. It's pretty cool actually for what it is. Film itself is, it's fine. The first one I find to actually be quite good. For a video game movie and just for a movie in general, I quite like it. Yeah, like I said, it was one of those things where I had the first one, which the first one is quite pricey now. It's out of print, so I'd imagine they're going to reprint it for this upcoming Silent Hill movie they have, that they just announced, with the remake of 2 and I believe a couple other of original games, which I'm very excited to play Silent Hill 2 because I've never played it. I've tried the HD collection. It's just a bit too difficult for me. This is coming from someone who plays Dark Souls and loves Dark Souls, but I'm so excited for that remake. Just like the Dead Space remake, I'm getting on a bit of a rant here, but I will show you my game Steelbooks in a bit, but the Dead Space remake. Dead Space is one of those franchises that I adore. Dead Space. It is so good. The first two are masterpieces. They are just, and the visuals of the remake that's coming out in January just look amazing. I'm so excited for that. Genuinely, it's going to be so good. And then we also have the Callisto Protocol coming out in December, which is the Dead Space like spiritual successor by some ex-devs. It's a great time to be a horror fan. And then the Resident Evil 4 remake. But I'll get onto that when we get to games. But let's continue on with the Blu-rays because there's not much left, and I'll have more rambles in that bit. But so there's a funny story behind this one. I went to Germany back in like 2015, and over there they have, you know, their big kind of HMV kind of place, and in there was like, there was like a whole like aisle, both sides just filled with steelbooks, and there was one steelbook that I saw that caught my eye, and I was like, oh, that's a nice steelbook, and I didn't have it, and I never got it, and it was always something I wanted. But then last year in lockdown, my ex-friend bought me it, which was lovely, but anyway, but I actually love this steelbook so much, and it's the Saw, I believe the 10th anniversary steelbook. It is such a lovely steelbook that, it's one to where like I've always wanted it. I've always seen it on eBay and that, never got it, but then when I got it I was like, oh, it's amazing. I love how this steelbook looks. This is one of my favorite steelbooks that I have. It's just fabulous. And I've just realised I've forgotten a steelbook. Give me 1 second. But yes, this is another steelbook that was bought for me by the same friend that bought the Saw steelbook, and that is the original Bela Lugosi Dracula steelbook. Let me just focus that. So this is a lovely little steelbook that comes with a outer cardboard sleeve. It's the back. And yeah, it's a really nice steelbook. The film itself is okay. For the time, there's some great shots, especially with the light only illuminating his eyes, which is brilliant. But it's not my favorite. My favorite is The Invisible Man. The Invisible Man original is actually way too brilliant for what it is. Like, it's so well done. Like, for the time, it's like jaw-dropping how well it was done. Next up, we have the Descent steelbook, which this was the other steelbook I mentioned with Filth that I picked up both of these on a whim, and this film was just bloody brilliant. Love this film so much. If you haven't seen it, it's disturbing, but oh, just realised there's stuff printed on the back of this one as well, like first class. But if you haven't seen it, it's well worth a watch. Don't watch part 2. There's no point. But The Descent Part 1 is fantastic. One of my first steelbooks. Next up is another absolutely fantastic film that I wish would get a 4K release over here. Although that's the beauty with 4K, is that it's region free, so you can just order it from another country and it's fine. But that is the Hereditary steelbook. Lovely little steelbook. This is one that did not sell well in terms of like the steelbook, so it was actually quite easy, and I'm pretty sure you can still readily get this. But I saw this in cinemas. Bloody brilliant film. I need to rewatch this soon. I was considering buying the 4K and rewatching it for Halloween, but the 4K is like £40, and I don't have the money for it right now. But pretty cool. Very good film. And the last Blu-ray and movie steelbook I have is, this is the one I bought with Friday the 13th Mondo, is the It Chapter 1 Mondo. This is one that I bought it because I did not have a steelbook for the first. I just wish it was 4K, but it is a lovely steelbook though. It's one thing I like about the Mondos is that, and I'm pretty sure I said this earlier, I'm pretty sure I said this in my 4K video, but is they always change the art for the discs, and they look absolutely beautiful. But yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. So yeah, I will now. I may cut this into another video for time's sake for games, but we'll see.